Losing money in the stock market roller coaster? Frustrated with the government taxing you into oblivion? Worried about inflation? How do you prepare for so many financial opportunities? Welcome to the show that will help you develop your game plan. The Financial Quarterback with Josh Jelinski. Josh is a noted financial advisor and president of the Jelinski Advisory Group, and he's here to answer your questions. Call into the show at 800-321-0710. 800-321-0710. Now let's kick off your financial future. Here's Josh Jelinski.
Hi, everybody. This is Josh Jelinski, the Financial Quarterback. We're coming to you live talking about numerous topics that you want to know about. We're talking about, should I accept a lump sum buyout offer? Maybe you have the opportunity to do a lump sum rollover. Is it a good idea or a bad idea? And Washington leaders agree Social Security needs to be fixed. But proposed tax increases are a key sticking point, and teen workers in a hot summer job market can use the greatest money-making asset to their advantage. So we're going to be talking about this and more. Some experts say a recession is coming. Here's how to prepare your portfolio. Segment 1, should I accept a lump sum buyout opportunity? Many of you have pensions, and you want to know, should you accept the lump sum buyout opportunity? Here are several factors that you and your advisor should be looking at. Deciding whether to accept a lump sum buyout is an important choice that you shouldn't make without consulting a knowledgeable financial advisor. And we can help you. We're getting many of you, in the pharmaceutical industry, getting buyouts. We're also getting many of you who your financial advisor is no longer, taking your business. I heard somebody this week that their financial advisor was going institutional. I don't know if you know, we're for the regular retail customer. Whether you have 50,000 or 50 million, we're here for you. So institutional investing, that's great. We help institutions. We also help individuals. Now this from IRAhelp.com's slot report. With economic uncertainty increasing, more companies with defined benefit plans will likely attempt to improve their bottom line by offering lump sum buyouts. A lump sum buyout is a limited opportunity for DB plan participants to elect a one-time cash payment in exchange for giving up future periodic payments. Some buyouts are offered to participants who are near retirement age, while others target those who are already receiving benefits. Now, what is the effect of the rising interest rate environment on all of this? So we're going to go to the phone lines. If you have a question now, call me at 800-321-0710. We are taking your calls live all hour. If you have questions on your money, now is the time to speak. We are live on YouTube and Clubhouse, so ping in your friends, share the room in the hallway, and also make sure you tell all your friends and family to call us right now at 800-321-0710. Other financial shows are canned, but I'm live, unscripted, and uncensored, and thinking about ending the live shows. So I'm just kidding. So, folks, call us, 800-321-0710. If you have questions, give us a call, 800-321-0710. Now, the lump sum is calculated by taking into account several factors, including an assumption about interest rates. The lower the interest rate assumption, the higher the lump sum. We just helped somebody with a lump sum, and we got the person the same income that they were going to receive as if they had left their spouse nothing, and we were able to get a death benefit for that spouse. So that's why you want to shop lump sum opportunities. You always want to shop what's out there on the open market, because although that may be a great income from your pension, you may be able to beat it. The lower the interest rate assumption, the higher the lump sum. With interest rates rising fast, it may be a good time to seriously consider locking in a lump sum instead of waiting for a later buyout window to open when rates may even be higher, causing your lump sum to diminish. How's your health? The amount of lump sum is also based on life expectancy. If you expect to live longer than average person your age, you may want to consider an annuity option rather than the lump sum. However, if you're facing medical issues, taking the buyout offer may be the way to go. And that's why when considering a lump sum, generally shopping it around is a good idea. So you have many options when considering a lump sum. You could take a lump sum payment, or you could take an annuity. 100% survivor, which means you leave your spouse the exact same check you were accustomed to. Or you could leave them 50% of the check you were accustomed to. So there's a lot of help that we're helping people with lump sums take back their financial future. Now, will your spouse agree? That's another consideration. If you are married, your spouse must consent before you can receive a lump sum. So we're going to go to the phone lines at 800-321-0710. If you have questions on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds, I don't see the chat box with Crash. I don't know if he's there today. Give us a call, folks, 800-321-0710. The other consideration you should make is how secure is your employer and your plan. If your employer goes out of business with a pension plan, it doesn't have enough funds to pay benefits, your existing or future payments could be reduced. That would be a factor favoring a buyout. The Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, the PBGC, does insure pension benefits up to a certain amount. However, even though the PBGC's financial picture has somewhat improved, it might be risky to count on that lifeline. Make sure your spouse agrees. You and your honey must agree about your money. Now, if you're a spouse of a husband who's a dope and he hasn't called us yet at 888-988-JOSH to see what is his best pension option, make sure you make the call, because we are going to advocate for the silent spouse, the spouse whose pension it isn't. Because what if you're used to getting $2,500 a month and all of a sudden your spouse dies and you get zero? Now, be honest with yourself. You may be the type of person who wouldn't be able to resist spending a large check instead of putting it away for retirement. If you are, taking a lump sum may jeopardize your well-being in later years. The way around that is to buy an annuity, generally a fixed indexed annuity with an income rider with a 10-year hold or 7-year hold. That way you still have some constraints, but your spouse gets the money if you die, and you can get income for as long as you live. Now, there are some important issues that should be part of any consideration about accepting help from an expert. Remember, don't make this crucial decision without getting expert guidance. There are many issues that you should be considering. Another one, know the tax rules. DB monthly payments are taxable fully in the year they receive, and you can't roll them over. You also can't do Roth planning. But a lump sum payout is eligible for a rollover to an IRA. Once rolled over, your funds become subject to RMD rules. But aside from that, you have lots of flexibility with IRA withdrawals. Next topic, Washington leaders agree Social Security needs to be fixed, but proposed tax increases are a key sticking point. And maybe you're like many, Maybe you have a pension question. Maybe you have a comment about Social Security. To get real progress, it's going to require people sitting down across from the table from each other and talking through what these issues look like and what bipartisan solutions will offer. However, I'm going to tell you why I don't think bipartisan solutions will do. Up next, this is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Call me now, 800-321-0710, and you get to ask me any and every financial question that's on your mind. No financial question is off limits. Annuities, stocks, bonds, rollovers, crypto, Bitcoin. Give us a call now, 800-321-0710. And if you call me in the next 3 minutes, I will give you my 15 ways to save taxes, 45-minute ultimate financial blueprint. Call us now, 888-988-JOSH for the 15 ways to save taxes, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, meet you out on the first tee?
Yeah, I'll be right there. Just reading this article.
On what?
New bill Congress passed. Looks like it's going to affect the value of all retirement savings plans. My financial guy didn't tell me about this when I saw him the other day.
Well, my guy did, and we made a plan. You may have heard of him, Josh Jelinski.
Josh Jelinski is your guy?
Listen, if you're 10 years or less from retirement,
Which I am.
Josh will give you a free economic plan, which includes retirement planning, a 27-point checklist to make sure your income
1 minute back.
live. He'll even help you navigate the current tax code.
I'm definitely going to call Josh.
Cool, but first, can we play some golf?
Call Josh Jelinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program, for your free economic plan. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH.
Hi, everybody. This is Josh Jelinski here, inviting you to call my office right now at 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH, for your very own protection, savings, and growth review. You can control what you do with your portfolio in these uncertain times. Asset location, asset allocation, tax strategies, protection strategies,
30 seconds.
strategies, growth strategies, and more. So give my office a call, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH. Call us today, 888-988-JOSH, for your free protection, savings, and growth review. That is a one-page, beautifully aligned financial blueprint for your wealth. You get to see all of your assets on one easy-to-understand page.
Stand by.
That is the protection, savings, and growth blueprint. Call us now, 888-988-JOSH. Hi, everybody. This is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, coming to you live. And if you have a question, type it in the chat box in YouTube. Also, type it in the Clubhouse chat box. Raise your hand. We'll bring you up on stage. If you're listening, you could listen on the Clubhouse app, Spotify, also iHeartRadio app, Apple iTunes podcast, and more. So just search for The Financial Quarterback. We're talking about lump sum pension rollovers. I just helped somebody this week, and it made me think about, when you do a lump sum, it is not best to just always pick the lump sum, nor it is always best to just pick the income for life. There are many options right now, especially with increased interest rates, where you could roll it over to an IRA annuity and you would get better income potentially with a death benefit that would go to your spouse that might increase the income that you would have received if you just kept it in the pension. Now, certain conditions may apply. You want to check fees, time commitments, surrender charge schedules, all that stuff. But you don't want to do a lump sum pension rollover all by yourself. So, next up, congressional leaders are agreeing on one thing: Social Security needs to be fixed before the program's funds are unable to pay full benefits in 2035. This was prompted in part by the release of the annual Social Security Trustees Report, which included the new projected 2035 date for when the program's combined funds will become depleted. At that point, 80% of benefits will be payable. The new date is one later year than projected last year, probably due to all of the COVID deaths, yet the program still has a 75-year deficit. House Republicans held a meeting last week to discuss their contention that the Democrats' harmful proposal fails to put Social Security programs on sustainable footing. Republicans want to protect Social Security for current beneficiaries and future generations, and if possible, save Social Security once and for all. You know what I want? I want the government to get their hands off of Social Security. Imagine getting all that money that they take for Social Security taxes back to you, and you could put it in a S&P index fund or something like that. To me, that'd be a whole lot better over the long haul than trusting greedy bureaucrats in Washington. Now, this followed a June Senate hearing that coincided with the proposal of a new bill to reform the program put forward by Senators Sanders of Vermont and Warren of Massachusetts. Our job is not to cut Social Security, not to raise the retirement age, as many of my Republican colleagues would have us do. Our job is to expand Social Security so that everyone in America can retire with the dignity that he or she deserves, and that every person in this country with a disability can retire with the security they need. You notice nobody disagrees with that, but how are we going to pay for it? Now, taxes are a sticking point. People are living longer. You know, the average age when they came up with Social Security was 65. I think if they left Social Security alone, didn't increase taxes, but raised the age of retirement, of collecting by, a few years like they did years ago in the 80s, I believe they did that, probably wouldn't hurt too many people. Those who are expected to make Social Security, within a certain amount of years, they would get the exact same program they were promised. But maybe if you're 40, you have time to prepare for that. Next up, we're going to go to the phone lines, and we have Gus. Go ahead, Gus.
Yes. Hello.
Go ahead. You're on with Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. A little tip for the radio. Bob
Good
Grant
morning,
or Mark's, what is his name, Levin? Don't say hello when you call, or whatever. Just spout your question. So go ahead, Gus.
Good morning. My name is Gus. I have a question. You were talking to pensions this morning, and an idea that crossed my mind. I have two homes that are paid off already. I'm working for the city, so I have a good job, and my wife also has a good job, and I also have some savings on the side. I was thinking to put the pension on the kid's name in case something ever happened to me. My wife would have the homes and stuff and the cash, but something for my kids to have in case I have, left the earth earlier. Is that a good idea?
Is your wife okay with it? I wouldn't be if I was her. I'd be like, how many years have you been married?
36.
Yeah,
a long time.
Well, that's a great gift. Honey, I'm going to die, and I'm not even going to leave you my pension. I think that's generally an inferior idea. Here's what I would tell you to do. If you don't need that pension, do you need the pension or no?
No, I do not rely on it.
You know what you do? You take that pension, and I bet you could put a $1 million life insurance policy into a trust. That way, when you die, the money goes to your kids. And then if you go into a nursing home, they can't take that money because an irrevocable life insurance trust owns the life insurance. So that's a great benefit. Now you might say, I'm not insurable. Well, maybe your spouse is. That's another option for you, to buy the insurance on her life. That way, if she dies, you get a bunch of money. But then if you both die, your kids get a bunch of money, tax-free, and it is Medicaid protected. And you could get long-term care riders on your life insurance policy, or what's called an accelerated death benefit, whereby you can accelerate or literally spend your death benefit while you're alive. It's generally in advance of the death benefit. So there's certain conditions that may apply. But a fantastic way to leave money to your grandchild, but not screw your wife or your children at the same time. Okay? Any questions on that?
No. So in essence, to avoid in case I would have to go, say, into a medical home, something like that, so the government can go after that.
Yeah, you want to protect your money from creditors, predators, in-laws, outlaws, including nursing homes and in-home care providers. And if you want to do that, get the 6 ways to save my money from a long-term care crisis review. Right now, we're giving that away to those of you who call me at 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. But I love the thinking, though. You're thinking wisely. I just think there'd be a better way to do it. Does that make sense? Now, if your wife is uninsurable, that might be the reason to name the child the beneficiary, but we'll see.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't go this alone. I'd get help from us. Okay.
Thank you.
Call us 888-988-JOSH. We got Gus, and now we have you, folks. If you have a question, be like Gus. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-5674. Now, Social Security. Jim, do you think Social Security will be there when you need it?
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I think that Jim is the everyman. You know, I will tell you, it will probably be there for you. Me, I don't know. You're a little bit older than I am. Now, here's the thing. I think everybody thinks Social Security is a little tenuous. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren want to tax people more. Do you know that tax that they take out of your pay? So, Jim, you're an employee of the firm. The government, what do they take? 6, 7%? You know what they take out of mine? 15 cents of every dollar. So it's horrible. So your employer pays for half of your Social Security and FICA taxes. Imagine if they didn't have to do that. It would be like an instant 15% raise. So I'm calling. I think you should do whatever you want with your own money. I think, you know, if you want to take that 15%, put it in a Roth, put it in a personal individualized savings account, you could do so. Now, you might have phase outs. So if you're 45 and under, you get private accounts. If you're 45 and older, you get the old legacy plan. Or 55 and older, you get the legacy plan. That way, those who are counting on it can still count on it. No cut in benefits. But they got to do something. There's a 75-year deficit. Now, personally, I don't think they're going to cut it. I don't think there's the political will, because too many people, that's all they get is Social Security. But I mean, can you really? If you took that same 15% of your pay, I'm going to go to the board later today and show you what it would be if the average person got 15% of their pay. And it could be the employer puts in 7.5 and they put in 7.5. Imagine if you saved 15% of your pay every year. And so it could be like a revamped Social Security. They tried to do this, but it was very unpopular. George W. Bush tried it, and it kind of failed. So we're going to go to the phone lines. If you have a question, give us a call now. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH. If you have a question on Clubhouse, chime in. We'd love to hear from you. If you have questions on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds, we're here for you. Ping in your friends. Invite them in. We want to help you. Went to a nice baseball game with my kids yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Now, what are the proposals? The plan put forward by Sanders and Warren would reapply those taxes at wages over $250,000, among other tax increases. So essentially, Warren and Sanders want more taxes. One Democratic plan proposed by Representative Larson of Connecticut, called the Social Security Act, a sacred trust, would reapply payroll taxes starting at $400,000 and up. This is a big screw job to small business owners. And they would find a way around this, folks. They would just pay a C Corp. They would create C Corps. But what Warren, Sanders, and other Democrats want is right now, if you make over a certain amount and you're a small business, that's not your payroll. It's just your gross income. So they want a Social Security tax of around 15%. Think about that. Used to paying like 30% in taxes. That's a 50% increase on money above a certain threshold. So the Democrats' proposals called for tax increases while significantly increasing benefits. The plan calls for raising payroll taxes, which are used to fund Social Security, in order to make benefits more generous. Currently, workers and employers each pay 6.2% on wages. That's not true because you also have Medicare, you have all these, it ends up being about 15 cents on every dollar that you make goes to Social Security, FICA, Medicare tax. It's ridiculous. It's already high enough. I think I'm taxed enough already. So what say you? Give us a call now, 800-321-0710 if you have a financial question. If you want the 15 ways to save taxes guide, call me now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Are you worried about the recent coronavirus crisis and how it may have affected your money? Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, inviting you to join me for my complimentary 6 Ways to Keep Calm During Turbulent Markets webinar. If you schedule and keep your no-obligation webinar today at 888-988-JOSH, it's a great thing to do. If you're stuck at home under stay-at-home orders, call us right now, 888-988-JOSH. If you're bored, there's never been a better time to get a second opinion on your wealth than right now. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. And go to my website, retirementrealitycheck.com.
Coming back, stand by.
Your free investment profile quiz. And when you buy my book, you're eligible for 3 free gifts. 888-988-JOSH.
Call Josh Jelinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program. 888-988-JOSH.
Okay, we're back taking your calls on all matters financial. So we're talking about Social Security, and Social Security trustees report may underestimate the precariousness of Social Security's financial outlook. Because the report was based on data through February, it does not account for high inflation in the months since. So the proposal by Warren and Sanders is yet another tax increase. Here's the thing, and this is what some of these people never ask, what is the amount that I am entitled to make of my income? If you ask these people, what's a fair amount? They never answer it because they want to take 80, 90 cents on every dollar you make and make you a wage slave to the government. We're already seeing that with inflation. Inflation is a stealth tax on the dumb and the poor who vote for bread and circuses. Feed us, Nero. Feed us, Caesar. What's happening? We have more handouts, more freebies than ever before. But you feel poor. Why is that? People making 100 grand a year feel poor. All these statistics now. The average couple making 100 grand a year because husband makes some, wife makes some. They're feeling poor. Think about that. If somebody came to you 30 years ago and said, you're going to make 100 grand a year, you would say, whoa, it's a lot of money. Now they're feeling poor. Why is that? Because inflation is a stealth tax. The only way you get a handle on inflation is you curb government spending. Now, how do you do that? You have to cut benefits or raise taxes, which is really difficult to do because that depresses growth. The Laffer curve has already defined that if your overall taxes go above a certain amount, I forget what it is, but it might be like 30 cents on every dollar, that growth is diminished, and there's actually a diminishing return to higher taxes because people stop working. The rich just say, hey, I'm not going to work. So there's a lot of things that we could do to save Social Security, raising the retirement age for one. But you know what? I'm very worried. I'm extremely worried that they will come up with some compromise. I remember Chris Christie, Republican, wanted to have a means test. I don't want to have a means test. If I did well and I saved like a good little boy or girl, why should I be penalized? I had 40 years of money going into Social Security. Why should I not get what I put in? That's why I think private accounts probably are the way to go. Next up, we have Pete. Go ahead. But they don't want private accounts because then the government won't control it. Go ahead, Pete.
Social Security?
Pete, go ahead.
I am, hi, can you hear me, Josh?
Yes.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
I have a question on Social Security.
Sure.
I am 67.
Yeah.
My full retirement age was 66. So I'm going to be getting perhaps about 8% more per year if I hold out till I'm 70.
Okay.
My wife, when I turn 70, she'll turn 65.
Yep.
I mean, 66 in two months, whatever, her full retirement age. Now, the question is this. Will she get half of my full benefit or just half of the benefit I would have received at my full retirement age of 66?
What you said last. She gets half of the benefit you were entitled to at your FRA or full retirement age, or 100% of hers, whatever is higher.
Her taking half of mine would be higher. But if I pass away, she will get the full benefit, including the extra I receive from waiting until I'm 70 to collect. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
no. What did you just say in the last phrase? You were. You don't ever ask somebody, is that true? Because then if not.
Okay.
What was the last phrase? Basically, she gets half of yours. If you would have been, she gets no benefit by you waiting till 70. You get the benefit, and then if you pass away, she gets the higher of the two. So the reason why you want to delay till 70 is she gets that full benefit if you were to predecease her. But she doesn't, you're both alive, she doesn't get half of what you're getting at 70. She gets half of what you would have gotten at 66 and 8 months or whatever your full retirement age is. And by the way, for those of you who want a free Social Security optimizer, we will show you the right way to take Social Security. Given your objectives, call me now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH, for the What Do I Do with Social Security review. Any other questions on that?
No, Josh, I listen to you all the time. Please don't become a canned radio show. I love it live.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Thank you. Next up, we have Renee. Yeah, that's a good point about canned radio shows. Many people do not take live calls on financial shows because they don't want to sound dumb. I don't sound dumb. I just can answer most of your questions because I've been doing this for so many years. Next up, we have Renee. Go ahead. You're on.
Hi, how you doing? I inherited a house with two siblings, and in the meantime, if someone dies, who does their share go to? The next sibling?
Oh, that's a very important question. Well, it depends. What does the will say? What does the trust say? How will things get distributed?
The children. The trust says goes to the three children, but God forbid one dies in the meantime, what happens then?
Does it go to their surviving issue? Is there any word like per stirpes or per capita?
Yes.
What is the phrase?
Per stirpes or something, like you said.
Per stirpes. That sounds
like you said.
Like it's not meant for G-rated radio. No. Per stirpes has to do with through the blood. I believe it has to do with the Latin. I don't know Latin for blood, but I think it has to do with stirpes, has to do with the blood. And stirpes means if you die and you have children, it goes to your heirs, your surviving issue. If it's per capita, it goes to the other siblings. So let's work through the exact scenario real quickly to kind of flesh it out. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go through this So your mom is passing, or what's happening here?
Passed.
I'm
And
s-
three girls inherited the house. One has no kids.
Okay. Does her language say per stirpes or per capita?
Per Serpes.
Well, she has no children. It should have said per capita, so it then gets divided. So what you do is, if your desire is the money to only go to your blood, and you, Renee, have children, yours would be per stirpes. Renee, let's call your last name Smith, per stirpes.
Right.
But then you have a sister. Your sister's name is, I don't know, Jenny. Jenny has no children. It would be Jenny Smith per capita. And let's say you had a brother. His name was Lenny Smith, the third child. He had children. Lenny Smith per capita. Now that's why a
But are
trust.
you supposed to change the title right away after the parents die? Or
Well,
like,
you
what happens
should,
in the meantime?
but it depends on. I mean, if the parents died, then it goes to the estate of the child with no kids. So if they had a child you didn't know about, if they were married, that share would go to their marriage partner, not to.
What happens if it did? What happens if it didn't say anything though? For that,
I don't know.
Sibling.
We'll help you through this. Call us at 888-988-JOSH. Seems like a little more complicated over the radio. So I'd be happy to help you. But essentially, per stirpes, per capita, and you should have done some type of trust. That way it goes into the blood. So with my family, what we're doing, I have 7 kids. If somebody doesn't remarry, it gets distributed. It keeps just going to the blood. And you think that's how it should be. That's not how it is legally. It goes to your sister's heirs, whoever that might be.
okay, so if you have no children and no husband, and it says per capita, it goes to the next 2 siblings, or it keeps going down to nephews and nieces?
Well, per capita would then go to the other siblings, but you got to be careful. I think you probably should do a trust, unless you can't. But that way. Now maybe your sister says, "Hey, I want the money to go to the National, Wildlife Foundation, or I want it to go to the dogs of, blah blah blah, or the SPCA of Long Island, or whatever." She may have desires. She may not want it to go to your kids. So but you could generally agree, and then we could help you through this, work with your attorney, and build you a good estate plan. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So give us a call now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH, for the 4 ways to leave my money to the people I love and the causes I love seminar. This is a 1 hour, 45 minute to 1 hour discussion with me over Zoom webinar or in-person meeting, one-on-one. Just call us, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. We'll be back after these messages.
It's always on your mind. Retirement, whether you're 55 or 35. Not everyone wants to work forever, and most would like a comfortable retirement. You may already have a plan, but is it the right one? Josh Jelinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program, is ready to guide you towards financial freedom. He challenges the ways your parents and grandparents saved money with fresh strategies, which are exactly what you need to navigate today's volatile economic climate. Josh's new book, Retirement Reality Check, is available to order on Amazon. It's an easy read that guides you through his system for securing your financial freedom, including tax-saving strategies, understanding the right investment mix, and more. Order now. Retirement Reality Check. Call Josh at 888.
1 minute back,
Let Josh
60
help you
seconds.
map out your retirement using fresh strategies. Call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674.
Everybody, this is Josh Jelinski here, inviting you to call my office right now at 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH, for your very own protection, savings, and growth review. You can
control what you do with your portfolio in these uncertain times. Asset location, asset allocation, tax strategies, protection strategies, savings strategies, growth strategies, and more. So give my office a call, 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH. Call us today, 888-988-JOSH, for your free protection, savings, and growth review. That is a one-page, beautifully aligned financial blueprint for your wealth. You get to see all of your assets on one easy-to-understand page. That is the Protection, Savings, and Growth Blueprint. Call us now, 888-988-JOSH. Ms. Clancy, you know that? We're back. Give us a call if you have questions. 888-988-JOSH for the free review. 800-321-0710 if you have questions on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds. Next up, we're going to go to Curtis. Do you want to speak? Curtis has a question. If you have a question, give us a call. Curtis has a question. I don't know if he's able to talk. Go ahead, Curtis. His question is, do you recommend that all families have a trust? Go ahead, Curtis. You're on with Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Hey. Get on mic and ask your question. Okay. Curtis's question was, do you recommend all families have a trust? You know, I'm not giving legal advice in any kind, so I don't recommend everyone get, one of anything. But I think a trust is a great way to bypass probate and to have your money protected from creditors, predators, in-laws, and outlaws. We work so hard for our money. I would hate for my money to be gone to my 7 children, and then it goes to their spouse. It has to go to the blood, in my opinion, for me to be happy, right? Do you have any in-laws or outlaws yet, Jim? Not yet. But you'd rather it go to your blood, right? Now here's the thing. If my son-in-law takes good care of my daughters, if my daughter-in-law takes good care of my sons, they will be the recipient of the income generated from the trust. They're just not going to get the money 50-50 in a divorce. That's all. So there's a big difference for that. A trust is akin to an ATM machine that you leave to your loved ones. And you might say, I don't have enough money to worry about a trust. You know what? You could have $100,000 to your name. You know what? That's your China egg. You worked hard for that. When you die, maybe you have a paid off house. You worked hard for that. You don't want the paid off house going to some in-law or outlaw. But most people, they just leave it 50-50. I have 2 kids. I'm going to leave it 50-50. Oh, I'm going to leave it a third. I have 3 kids. Or a fourth to each kid. You know what? There's a big problem with that. In that once you die, it becomes a part of their estate. So I hope that helps you. Any other follow-up questions to that, Curtis? Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a follow-up. So, and I just had a scenario where, and I was wondering what I could have done to.
Oh, you're fading out, Curtis. Go ahead.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I first had a significant death claim, went to the husband. They had 2 young children, and the father basically spent all the money.
Yeah.
And and then so the child called me, oh, we're struggling, is there any money left in the insurance? I said, no, your dad got it all, and I'm wondering in that situation, is there, I'm an insurance agent, as you know, could I help control that? I didn't realize he was such an irresponsible person.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm thinking that, what could I do on the front end to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, you need to partner with a good estate planning attorney. We'll help you. I know Curtis. Curtis is a good guy. We were both trained, I think, by similar people, and their theory was, don't do trust because you don't want attorney's fees, you don't want this, and you don't want that. But you know what? I've seen too many death claims or estates where the person passes and essentially the heirs get screwed because it goes to in-laws, outlaws, or the predator, maybe your kid. Your kid might spend all the money that would have gone to your grandchild. So I was of the variety, this was 10 years ago, I've changed, that you don't need a trust. Maybe you need a revocable living trust. But then once you die, do you really need all that complexity and attorney's fees? But I've changed my mind, and I really think I do. Now, what you want to watch for is you want to watch for trust company fees. I've shopped this in my own estate where my estate planning attorney, who I love, was like, hey, you should use this trust company. I saw their fees were 2%, whereas I then referred a client to a trust company fees where the fees were, less than 0.5%. So you got to be careful of fees. But, I'm seeing this more and more, meaning that people that I love are passing away and people are getting the money who it wasn't really intended for. So you spend your whole lifetime building this and then the money gets dissipated or it gets distributed. A lot of our clients don't have children. So the money goes to all, nieces and nephews equally, when maybe you wanted to go to one who took care of you more than the other. Maybe you wanted some to go to charity. Remember, I had one client, he loved the children with the cleft palates. And I would make fun of him a little bit because he would think I was making fun of him. I really wasn't. I was trying to get him to realize his own demise. Guy was like 85. He thought he was never going to die. He never did a will. Not one will. He didn't even do a will. He didn't do a trust. Forget a trust. He didn't even do a will. And died without a will. And things were all a big mess. But I was trying to share with him, well, if he left money to the kids with cleft palates, I said, George, that's not his name, but I'm making up a name. George, what charity is near and dear to your heart? And he would say, I can't help but think those kids with the cleft palate, you give a little bit of money, a couple grand, and you change a kid's life forever. And I would bring that up on every meeting to say, George, don't you care more about the cleft palates than the money going to the government? But sadly, George did not listen. We did a lot of work for him over years and years and years, but he didn't listen. He didn't take action. You got to take the gift. It's free, in the sense of the gift of knowledge. It might cost you money, have an attorney set it up. But the point is, you work your whole life for this money, and it can be gone like that with a demise. And if he would have left money to the kids with the cleft palates via charitable remainder trust, he would have gotten massive tax write-offs. He always complained about taxes. So we have planning for kids for people who are single with no heirs, for people who are married with no heirs. We also do planning for people with children to make sure their grandkids not get the money and not the in-laws and outlaws. So if you want the estate planning conversation, give us a call, 888-988-JOSH. If you're among the first 3 callers, I will give you my estate planning 27-point checklist tool for free if you schedule and keep your no-obligation review. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH. Jim says I sound like Barry White today. I can only dream. Hello. Okay, this is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
Hey, meet you out on the first tee?
Yeah, I'll be right there. Just reading this article.
On what?
New bill Congress passed. Looks like it's going to affect the value of all retirement savings plans. My financial guy didn't tell me about this when I saw him the other day.
Just 30 seconds back. 30. 3-0.
You may have heard of him, Josh Jelinski.
Josh Jelinski is your guy?
Listen, if you're 10 years or less from retirement,
which I am,
Josh will give you a free economic plan, which includes retirement planning, a 27-point checklist to make sure your income lasts as long as you live. He'll even help you navigate the current tax code.
I'm definitely going to call Josh.
Cool, but first, can we play some golf?
Call Josh
Stand by.
Jelinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program, for your free economic plan. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH.
Okay, I always love the listener call-in shows. Next up, we got Michelle. Go ahead.
Hi, Josh. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for the call.
So I just had a question. If I have a work 401k and a traditional IRA, and they're both in all stocks, is that dangerous? I'm 49, so.
Well, do you have 30 different stocks in different sectors weighing each other so that if one sector goes down, you're okay?
Well, no, I don't think so. I have a lot of loser stocks.
Okay.
But my work 401k has a bunch of stocks that it's like a stock fund where it's all different ones. I don't know what they are.
Well, you could call us at 888-988-JOSH for our free "What do I do with my 401k" review. Generally speaking, we have like three types of portfolios. We have individual stock portfolios where you can buy, world quality companies, in different sectors. So you should have no more than a certain percentage in each sector. So, you might have individual stocks like retail, but no more than 10% in retail, no more than 10% in oil and gas, no more than 10% in tech. So you can, you can kind of weight things. So if you want individual stocks, we could help you with that. If you like funds, and funds are generally a little more conservative because you're owning thousands of stocks in a fund, like the S&P 500 index fund has 500 different stocks in it. So it protects you should one of the stocks go under. But they've done studies that if you have 20 to 30 different stocks in different asset classes, that might prove sufficient diversification, but the average person doesn't know how to do that. So we can certainly help you with that.
Agreed. Okay.
And we could weight things. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people are heavy on big tech, right? Like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. Proper diversification would say you should have no more than 10% of your portfolio in those types of things, or no more than maybe 20% of your portfolio in those types of things. And then you would have 10% in pharma, 10%, overseas, 10% in gold. So you can weight a portfolio in a certain way, and we'd be happy to help you. A lot of you with the increased volatility are wondering, am I properly invested? Well, call us for the 3 ways to make sure I'm properly invested review in my 401k. And I will do some macroeconomic talks next hour. We're here live for 2 hours taking your calls on all matters financial at 800-321-0710. Michelle, do you have any other follow-up questions?
Thank you so much. No, I just also really quick, if you're single and you sell some stocks that are doing really well, seems like you just give it all back.
Yeah, you got to be careful of tax ramifications. So maybe you own things that you're going to sell in your 401k. So if you sell, you don't pay taxes on that until you need the money and take it out. Also, be sure to head over to YouTube. Just search for Josh Jelinski on YouTube.com, and we can answer all of your questions in the chat box. Do we have any questions on the live chat, Jim? No. So, folks, we're listening to your questions on YouTube. We're there for you live. If you have questions on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds, we're talking about the Social Security solution, the Social Security dilemma. Now, as the House met last week, Representative Jody Arrington of Texas said this: can we do this as Republicans only through reconciliation or some other mechanism? The answer is no, and that also goes for proposals put forward by the Democrats. At the Senate hearing, Republican Mitt Romney emphasized the need for bipartisanship. If we don't come up with a bipartisan solution, we will not save it. Here's the truth. Bipartisan solutions will probably screw the average person.
minute.
Now, Senator Rick Scott of Florida has received pushback on his proposal that would sunset the program every 5 years. Romney has proposed a bipartisan bill that would create bipartisan committees to come up with changes to resolve the program's woes. We don't need committees, folks. We need action. So here's the thing. If you're worried about Social Security, make sure you're saving 10 to 15% of your pay in something that isn't tied to Social Security. We're here for you. Give us a call now, 888-988-JOSH, for the 15 Ways to Save Taxes review. And you get the ultimate bear market survival guide for free
15.
when you schedule and keep your no obligation review. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back with your questions next segment at 800-321-0710. So if you want to get on with me now, 800-321-0710.
WOR and WAXQ HD2 New York, an iHeart radio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.